The silence that settled over Villisca, Iowa, on the morning of June 10, 1912, was not one of peace, but of an absence so profound it screamed. It was the sound of 8 lives extinguished in the dark and a secret the old White House on East Hacken Street would refuse to give up. This is not just a story of a brutal crime. It is a story of a town's soul fracturing, of the investigation poisoned by suspicion, and a century of whispers that have yet to coalesce into an answer. Our story begins not with death, but with life. The Moore family were the very picture of American prosperity in a small, tight-knit town. Josiah Moore, a well-liked and successful businessman, had a knack for sales and a respected place in the community. His wife, Sarah, was a pillar of the Presbyterian Church, known for her kindness and her skill in raising their 4 children. Herman, aged 11, Catherine, 10, Boyd, 7, and Paul, 5. They lived in a handsome 2-story frame house, a symbol of their hard-won comfort. On the night of June 9th, the house was filled with the happy chaos of children. The Moores' 2 young daughters, Lena and Ina Stillinger, ages 12 and 8, were having a sleepover after an evening of church activities. They all retired for the night, the house falling into a quiet slumber, completely unaware that they were not alone. The horror revealed itself slowly the next day. A concerned neighbor, noticing the unusual stillness, the unclaimed milk bottles on the porch, and the blinds still drawn long past morning, grew worried. She called Josiah's brother, who arrived and let himself in. The air inside was heavy, stale. He called out, but only silence answered. Upstairs, he pushed open the first bedroom door, and the world tilted on its axis. The scene was one of unimaginable carnage. Josiah and Sarah were in their bed, their skulls crushed by an axe. The blade had fallen with such force that matter and bone were spattered across the walls and ceiling. In the next room, the 4 Moore children were found in their beds, similarly slaughtered. The Stillinger sisters, in the 3rd bedroom, had met the same fate. The killer had moved through the house with a methodical, brutal efficiency. Every single victim had been bludgeoned to death with the blunt side of an axe, the same axe, now identified, that was left leaning against the wall in the guest room, a silent, taunting monument to the violence. A macabre detail chilled the investigators to their core. In several rooms, the killer had taken the time to drape clothing over the mirrors, as if unable or unwilling to see their own reflection in the aftermath. The initial investigation was a study in small-town innocence colliding with a monster. The local law enforcement was quickly overwhelmed. The crime scene, trampled by well-meaning but disastrously curious townsfolk, was contaminated beyond modern repair. Yet, amidst the chaos, a few key pieces of evidence stood out. 2 bloody slabs of bacon were found in the house, leading to theories the killer had brought them, perhaps to quiet the family dog, which had been left unharmed in the shed. Most hauntingly, a single, unused kerosene lamp was found on the kitchen table, its chimney carefully removed and placed beside it. It suggested the killer had sat in the dark house, waiting for the family to fall asleep, the lamp ready to be lit at a moment's notice. The investigation quickly spiraled into a morass of suspicion. Was it a transient? A jealous business rival? A maniac passing through on the rail line that ran just a stone's throw from the Moore home? The first major suspect was a man named Reverend Lynn George Jacqueline Kelly, a traveling Presbyterian minister who had been in Villisca that very night, delivering a sermon attended by the Moore and Stillinger families. Kelly was eccentric, his behavior in the days following the murders seen as odd and evasive. He inserted himself into the investigation, offering strange, unsolicited theories. He was arrested and subjected to a grueling 48-hour interrogation, a marathon of psychological pressure in a St. Louis hotel room. He was a man with a volatile temper and an unstable personality, but a direct link to the crime remained elusive. He was released, his name forever stained, but the case against him was purely circumstantial. Then the focus shifted, fueled by the relentless and some would say reckless efforts of a private detective named James Wilkerson. Hired by a state senator with a political axe to grind, Wilkerson became obsessed with a different man, Andrew Sawyer, a prominent local businessman. Sawyer had a disputed financial history with Josiah Moore, and Wilkerson, using tactics that blurred the line between investigation and coercion, built a case. He found witnesses who placed Sawyer near the scene, others who claimed he had made suspicious comments. The centerpiece of his theory was a bloody shirt, which he claimed was the murder garment. The case against Sawyer went to trial in 1917, 5 long years after the murders. The courtroom was a pressure cooker of long-held animosities and the desperate desire for closure. Wilkerson took the stand, a picture of confidence, presenting his carefully constructed narrative. But under cross-examination, his case began to unravel. His key witnesses were shown to be unreliable, their memories perhaps shaped by Wilkerson's own suggestions. The blood on the shirt was challenged. The case, built on sand, collapsed. The jury acquitted Andrew Sawyer in under 2 hours. The verdict did not feel like a victory. It felt like a defeat for an entire town. The legal system had spoken, but it had provided no answers, only another layer of mystery. The true climax of this story is not a confession or a conviction, but a revelation of profound and lasting corruption. After the Sawyer trial, it was revealed that Detective Wilkerson had not just been overzealous. He had been criminal. He had suborned perjury, intimidated witnesses, and likely fabricated evidence to frame Andrew Sawyer. The real shockwave was the reason why. Rumors and later investigations suggested that Wilkerson E.S.'s real mission was not to find the killer of the Moore family, but to protect the powerful political and business interests in Montgomery County. The theory, still debated by historians today, posits that the true killer was someone with connections so deep that a cover-up was orchestrated at the highest levels. Was it to protect a respected family name? To prevent a scandal that would shatter the town's image? The acquittal of Sawyer was not an exoneration of an innocent man in the eyes of many, but the successful execution of a conspiracy to bury the truth. The investigation was not just bungled, it was deliberately poisoned, ensuring the real killer would never see the inside of a courtroom. In the decades that followed, the Villisca Axe Murder House stood as a silent sentinel to the unsolved mystery. It became a magnet for paranormal investigators and true crime tourists, each hoping to feel some echo of the truth. But the ghosts of Villisca do not speak in clear sentences. They only whisper fragments of a story that can never be fully told. The case files grew dusty, the suspects and investigators passed away, and the town learned to live with the shadow, though it never truly lifted. The legacy of Villisca is a chilling testament to the fact that sometimes the justice system fails, not because it lacks the clues, but because the truth is too dangerous to be set free. Sometimes the most terrifying monster is not the one who wields the axe, but the one who gets away with it, leaving a quiet town to forever wonder who, among them, wore the mask of a neighbor. If stories like this keep you hooked, hit subscribe for more.